Greetings guys, and welcome back to another video. I figured I'd take a break from the vigil. We would try out a little Dramiel. I was looking at the fits, and the usual fits that you see in Lowsec are like dual prop. Like basically my fit, instead of like a dual web, you have like a MWD as well as like smaller guns. Or like the cap injector, dual red one, I feel are kind of staples of Lowsec, so I figured we'd try and mix it up and do like dual webs. I don't feel like many people like expect dual webs in the Dramiel. Allows us to do like, we have like range control, man. Range control the fit, this fit. You thought it was the Vigil Fleet? Nah, it's this. So you pretty much can dictate like whether we want to escape any fight in scram range. We just need to time it correctly. Foreshadowing for a fight. But yeah. And Dramiel's, I feel like a lot of people also underestimate how much DPS a Dramiel does. I didn't actually realize you could get as good DPS out of it. But with the faction and rage and warriors, we're doing 250 heated. And then if we pop that to hail, we're doing about 270, which is pretty nice, man. And especially if the dual webs, we will be applying perfectly. But usually we don't like use hail and like keep at say like really close, like say like 1 or 500, and just like do max DPS. We do that in some fights, but most fights we're either like orbiting, we're keeping at range, and like working with like our full fall off. So mostly we're not using hail and we're sticking with faction. We can take into account barrage, but usually your best is just sticking with faction. We're also using a dose 3 speed drug, and cause that like helps with the speed, like the mitigation of like damage if we're orbiting or keeping that range. We go about 2.2 heated with the speed drug active, which is pretty nice, man. I won't lie. So yeah, we pretty much dictate like a lot of range. The only thing that's sort of going against the Dramiel is its tank. It doesn't have that much EHP, which it has a reasonable EHP, but not like good compared to like say like a Comet or something that has like 7k HP and small ancillary. So yeah, we're really relying on like the small ancillary and our speed to like make it damage, because we can't really like brawl most things, or actually like have a good chance of like losing to like say like some T1 stuff that does like a lot DPS. So yeah, that's what we need to take into consideration. I'm also using Exile. I'm pretty sure most of these fights you won't see me be using Exile, just a speed drug. But I've started to incorporate Exile into the fix, just like that extra red power is like so good, man. But the negative sides of that booster can really bugger you, man, especially like the cap penalty one. But also to mention, the ships that you want to start engaging this are basically gunboats. Drone boats and missile boats will give you a hard time, because you can't really mitigate much of their damage. Comets are great, like Blaster Comet, you want to keep at range. Real Comet, you want to like orbit close and mitigate a lot of damage. You can also do already Firetails. It can be really dicey though, but if they warp into you and you start at 0, you can potentially like let them like miss a bunch of their hits if you orbit close. It's still gonna be rough though if you like warp into them, because it'll take you a while. If like you probably won't like make a lot of damage if you're burning into them, so it'll take you way too long to get close enough to where you're gonna make a lot of damage, because you know, dual webs. So yeah, basically like gunboats are the ones you want to go for. Watch out for kiters if you're warping into them. Like slicers and that can give you a hard time if you're not like competent in your slingshotting. So yeah, let's get on to the fights, guys. Alright, so my thought process in this fight is basically seeing that there's 2 executioners. I should be able to mitigate the damage of one fully and be able to tank the other. Because if I get 2 webs and one and orbit it close, it shouldn't be able to track too well. It's my hopes. They'll probably have 2 webs on me, but I should still be faster than one of them. So that way I'll be able to like mitigate the damage from one of them fully while they're trying to kill them. So I have fusion loaded, and I believe I set my default orbit to 2000. Now notice that they're kind of both starting quite far away, so I go in this guy. Like basically my idea is like nuke him down before his other dude gets in. It seems like quite what's the word? He doesn't react very quickly, which is very good for me. So by the time he gets into range and starts applying his DPS, I'm nearly killed this other executioner. And then I'm waiting, like I'm basically holding on to the trigger. Like I need to get orbit around this guy quickly and mitigate like a lot of damage. You've noticed that we're tanking thing, man. If they reacted quicker, it might have been a harder fight. But you'll notice that we're getting like a lot of glances and like misses from the dudes, and we're like mitigating a lot of damage, which the Dramiel's very good at. Yeah, that's a nice little 2v1 against those 2 executioners. Alright, that's fight's against a Blaster Comet. I fought this guy before, but I had to warp out in the fight, so I thought I'll give it another bash. Basically my play is set at 7500, and basically it's like Null reaches out to about 7.5k, and Void's like 3.5. in hindsight, I should have maybe like pulled out to like 8k to like ensure that I was getting like absolutely no grazings, or if the grazings would have been far less, I feel. So maybe this was like a error in my play, but like the free like what's the word, hull rig Comet is so powerful, man. Like 7.2k HP, small ancillary rep, man, it's so hard. So the Dram isn't like the tankiest thing, or the most DPS heavy. It does good DPS, but we need to like mega a lot of damage to win fights. So he yeah, just planks away at this, and I'm like, alright, yeah, we've lost this. At this point, I'll line up to a station, spam the hell out, warp, and basically pray. But unfortunately, I wasn't praying enough, and yeah, we lose our Dramiel, unfortunately. But it's a good 1v1 for sure. Okay, this is an example of a good Blaster Comet fight. I think he starts off with Void, is why I win this. But basically, the safest play in a Dramiel is always set your default keep at 7.5k when you're fighting a Fed Navy Comet. And then check ID the gun to see if the rails. If the rails like turn your orbit close to like 500 or 1k. But basically, you don't want to like start your fight out at 0 in a Comet. Like, see if you just like start your default at 1k expecting to beat rails, you're gonna meet blaster DPS, and that's like no fun. So set it to 7.5. You'll still be taking damage from the rails, but if like rail DPS is like alright to like handle, your anti-seal will handle it, so you can like change, like, you know, go to your orbit like short range. So basically, set default 7.5. This guy like eventually switches to null, but I think he started off in the fight in Void, which is end up like what lost him the fight there. Alright, this fight's again already Cynabal. I do check this dude's fit before I warp in. I'm expecting a small mute as well, which I'm a little bit scared of, but we can kite it out. But his fight differs a little bit. So basically, I'm going to orbit close because these artillery shouldn't apply, and kill these drones. But I make like, oof! I got to start there. That was the dream killer right there. So we're pulling out orbit, and our we had like no transversal to like make 8 damage there. Boom! Dude, like, see if he was using light drones, I think that'd be the end. But thankfully, he's rocking infiltrators, which is a huge mistake, man. Like, if your cruiser has a bandwidth of 50, I feel like it's such a bad choice to bring mediums instead of 2 sets of lights, especially if like a little frigate like this catches you. You guess underneath your guns because you're buggered this time. Like, I don't even need to kill these drones because they aren't applying whatsoever. I could probably tank these, but I feel like I ended up going for them anyway, just like take that just in case I get some like lucky wrecking hits or whatever. Because like you notice their infiltrators in EM, they have like bad tracking, and yeah, like we have good resist for EM. So basically, this is like, I'm so happy at this point. This is pretty much GG. I do end up noticing that he doesn't have like a newt on me, so I'm like, alright, I'll bring my orbit a bit more in so our fall off isn't as much and we're doing more DPS. I still keep an eye on drones because I do want to like take them into the equation just if I can. So that's something to like bear in mind. If you can't like get a lock in the fit before you go in, or have like a general idea of what the cruiser is, medium newts bugger you up, man, and light drones. So if this dude was rocking either of those, especially if that like large arty hit he got at the start, man, that was like terrible. I should have like I should need to get better like manual piloting and stuff. Cause like that big hit at the start was like huge, man. See if you had like light drones on us, so we might have not been able to tank them, or yeah, it would have been like a nightmare. But yeah, I see use launcher drones again. I want to take those out. I think I keep my drones on the cruiser actually, and also you'll notice I'll need to get better at my shortcuts, man. Like this whole like clicking and back and forth, especially going from the drones one back and then to the guns. It takes like such a long time, man. I need to just get like more proficient at my shortcuts. But yeah, once these drones are gone, that's pretty much GG, man. There's no other way that's gonna apply any damage whatsoever. And even with the infiltrators, like, yeah, it's gonna be a very rough time for him. I'll just like keep my drones on the Cynabal just to like keep on running it down. I think I might decide, yeah, just go for him because like the infiltrators are doing nothing to us. And it's going to be a shield buffer, so I'm like, alright, there's not much left in this Cynabal, so I just keep on like nuking it down. Yeah, that's also another reason why shield buffer fits are buffer fits in general cruiser are a bit rough, man, because you can just like get kited out, or if some dude can get underneath your guns, you're kind of buggered that way too. But yeah, like I was super happy with this Cynabal kill. It's like one of my favorite things, like fighting up ship like this, especially like frigate versus like cruise or something. Okay, this fight's against a Rail Comet. I don't know going in, but know that once you warp into Plex, you have an invulnerability period. So use that time to like check the guns and get a bit of intel on your opponent. So I notice it's Rails. I'm going to go, alright, orbit 1k, get underneath his guns, might get a bunch of DPS. And yeah, we should be applying pretty well for autos. This is a very weird, like, bling, like, Railgun. I see what he's going with. It's, like, similar to, like, how you'd flag the shield Succubus with, like, a faction web or something. Like, keep at, like, 14 or something. Because it's, like, he's run a Fed Navy web and, like, a nano in the lows, which is quite an interesting fit. If we weren't a dual web Dramiel, I think he'd be able to pull range from us, and it'd be a very rough fight for us. So he was definitely not expecting a dual web Dram, and unfortunately, it was his downfall. But nevertheless, it was still, like, a good 1v1, man. He definitely, like, held his own. Alright, this fight's against a stabber. I know going into this fight, he has two meta newts, sorry. So I know how to, like, handle this. I mucked it up the first time, like, I got super, like, nervous, and then I just, like, ran, and basically, like, asked him for round 2, and he was like, sure. So I knew going into this fight what I needed to do. I set my orbit to 6,100, because, like, the meta newts, sorry, only reach out to 6k. So, like, that's not a factor. If it was T2, newts, it would have been a bit of a problem. So, like, keeping our orbit, like, out to, like, 7.5 would be a bit hard whilst keeping the scram on them, unless we, like, heated. But, yeah. So, just, like, again, like, with any, like, of these, cruiser fights, basically, like, nuke the drones, then it's, like, golden. I sped up this fight as well, because this is a extra large ancillary stabber, so it took a wee bit to, like, burn them down. And I didn't want you guys to, like, just, like, sit through like that. Just, like, basically, once I kill these, like, drones, it's just, like, watching his range and making sure that I, like, overheat scram once we, like, start to, like, pull out, just in case he's, like, spamming warp and trying to, like slingshot me out or something. You'll notice, like, once it gets up to, like, close to 8k, I try and heat it, because we only have a meta scram ourselves reaching out to, like, 8.2k. So if he, like, goes out of that, like, spams warp, I'd be very sad. But at this point, basically, I just, like, yeah, there's the two newts there, but they aren't reaching out to us. Even with our orbit, say, like, 5.5, the speed of which isn't, like, allowing us, like, orbit, like, at that range, like, basically. So, like, usually the orbit you set isn't usually the orbit you'll be at. You'll notice that we're sticking around, like, 6k to, like, we're also, like, bumping out to 7 to 8k at some point. So yeah, just be mindful of that. Yeah, and this is pretty much GG, man. I just need to wait for his charges to run out and hope that he doesn't get reload before I run for his buffer. But I don't think he played the reload correctly. Like, he shouldn't have let his armor be burned through like that. And he should have, like, used all his charges at full shield, so I could potentially, like, get another reload off. But that would have mattered. Would eventually burn through him anyway. And yeah, it was a good GF, especially since he took the fight at the same time. I have a lot of respect for that. Okay, up now I have two clips against two Succubus. This first one's armor and the second one's shield. So basically I just want to orbit close, see if I can get some form of damage by getting orbiting close. But if the dude's the usual shield one, overheats his AB, he should be able to apply Fang. Because we won't be able to keep this orbit. You should be able to, like, pull range. So basically I'm just, like, getting close, applying a lot of DPS, and this guy does not expect the amount of DPS this Dram does. He's going down rapid, man. Thankfully, I don't think he actually activates his AB. Thankfully, it doesn't, because we're bouncing all over this gate, and that could have been a bad one. So, yeah. The armored suck goes down. But this next fight, the pilot also did make a mistake in this next fight, but we'll see. Because I have no business taking this next fight that we're about to do. Right. This is, like, I see this guy land a game, right? Alright, it's land at range, sweet. I'm like, oh god, long point. I'm thinking faction web and AB, like a kind of more expensive Dramiel, Succubus, sorry. So basically, same applies. Want to get in orbit, but after this fight, this guy mentioned that he made a like grievous mistake and he didn't turn on his AB for like a bit of the fight at the start. So we were able to get on top of him, and it would have taken him a while to pull range as he like reapplied his AB. So, like, I'm, like, and the Dram does, like, a lot of DPS, man. Like, I think I've just, like, lost this completely. Like, I had no idea I'd be able to kill this Succubus. Of course, he did make a mistake, but if he, like, warped into us, I feel like it would have still been relatively close. So, yeah, it's still, like, super close. So, he's still getting, like, hits and stuff, because, like, I think he's slightly faster than us, so he should be able to, like, pull and keep at range and apply beautifully with his beams. So, yeah, I was super, super happy with this. So yeah, that's the video, guys, man. I do hope you guys enjoyed and seen, like, the Dramiel's, like, good, man, because I feel like he gets a bunch of fights, because, like, people can work it. Like, I feel like the Vigil is just, like, so hard to, like, kill if you're, like, in a, a brawly boat, so you can just, like, pull out your orbit, like, 13 and they're buggered. But with the Dramiel, you sort of need to stay in, like, scram range, and it gives other people, like, a good opportunity to fight you. And the fact that it has like the warp speed as well, man, is like super handy for roaming, just like blitzing systems, trying to find fights, or getting like really depressed and knowing like you're blitzing like 30k, like no 30k jumps, fairy jumps, and then like getting nothing. But yeah, it's good for that, man. It's also good for like scouting systems whilst you're PvPing, and then you can like go back to your staging and like say if you see like a lone cruiser, you can pop back to your system, get a cruiser, bring it out. You know, it's good for that as well. But I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy Nuxarian as well. He gave us the Angel Hex skin, and I'm so appreciative of it. It made us like look baller and stuff. We were just roaming naked, and he didn't want it, man. We need to be fly, so he gave us the Angel Hex, which is the one I was going to get. Cause like it's my favorite skin, man. Keeping us like the freshest Dramiel in the Warzone. So yeah, I'm gonna try and be more regular with this YouTube thing, man. Just try and stop being lazy and try keep a schedule to try and like release a video every Wednesday. Don't hold me to it though. I've made that mistake in the past, but I do hope you guys enjoyed, man. I had a good fun flying this. I'll probably definitely fly in the future. But yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, regional equivalent, guys, and I'll catch you next time.